art is creation.
Right.
Creation is the highest form of communication.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is as close to God or the universe or spirit or however you want to name it.
Sure.
That it can possibly be.
Of course, there's definitely something much greater than us. But if we are co-creators, then who's to say we're not partly God too?
Well,
you know?
that
or
is
godlike, I should say.
Yeah.
Godlike.
I guess the soul. You know, if we all have that stardust in us,
right?
Aren't we partially connected? We're all part of that.
Welcome to the Self Instruct Podcast, where we explore techniques, tools, and insights into guiding ourselves towards a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life. We are your hosts, Iggy Sweeney
and Aaron Cropper. From exploring spirituality, finding life's deeper meaning, managing stress and anxiety, battling depression, overcoming addiction, and more, join us as we share practical advice, inspiring stories, and expert guidance to self-instruct ourselves in every facet of our lives.
Ready to find our path to balance?
Let's dive in.
I want to introduce our good buddy, Toby. Thanks for being here with us today, man. We really are fortunate and excited to have you. Just to give people a little bit of just a story behind Toby. Toby's been a tattoo artist for decades here, actually all over the place, but he is from the Columbus area, correct?
Yeah. Got my start here.
Roughly, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I remember when we first met. Do you?
Yes, I do.
We were together at Sacred Art.
Yeah.
Over on the east side.
Yep.
Man, forever ago.
A couple lifetimes ago.
Yeah, a couple lifetimes. Yeah, for sure. And for those of you who may or may not know, Sacred Art is no longer there, but it was there for a long time.
Yeah,
it was there for a long time.
20, 25 years?
Yeah.
Or 15?
Somewhere in that neighborhood. But anyway, that's where you and I first met. And I remember, I think you were still a little bit green. You were just getting your start, correct? Or you've been tattooing maybe a year or two, perhaps?
I think I was like right around 2 years.
Right around 2 years.
Yeah.
I just remember you were a young buck at the time, chomping at the bit, ready to get after it, as I'm sure you still are. But fast forward to today, we took the podcast to Hell City this year, and we had an amazing time talking to so many different artists, and really trying to like tap into the spiritual side of what our lives really are in conjunction with art and tattooing. And of course we saw you at the wet paint project, and I just had to stop and say hello, and before we knew it, we were doing a short form interview with you, and it went so well that it prompted me to be like, hey, we really gotta have Toby on and have you share your story.
Yeah,
so
and I'm glad you did stop. Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Thank you for having me on.
For sure, we're so happy to have you, and so happy that you're here. So let's just dive right in and get right to it. And a lot of these questions that I kind of came up with really do resonate in terms of what we spoke about that day, and how painting and tattooing does have a spiritual side, and how that sort of plays out in your work and just in everyday life, really. But the first question I have for you is, how do your spiritual beliefs influence your artistic process, both in tattooing and painting?
Oh man,
right off the bat, man, we're swinging for the fences.
Well, I think it, for me, it's just part of it. It's absolutely, the way I view it is art is creation.
Right.
Creation is the highest form of communication.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is as close to God or the universe or spirit or however you want to name it.
Sure.
That it can possibly be. It's, how can you not, I can't separate the two.
Totally.
Spirituality to me, or art. Yeah.
Is it like they're kind of one and the same, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
right?
they really are.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm painting, I get in the flow state, right?
Right.
And to get into the flow state is where like I feel more connected with the universe or spirit,
Right.
and that's the doorway,
Right.
you know. And
Right.
I'm with the painting or tattooing or any of that. It's more painting for me
Sure.
because I'm free to just kind of let go.
Right.
And I get to do whatever I want to do. It's
Right.
my thing. And then that's how I connect.
Right. And that makes sense, right? With tattooing, you have a set structure, you're following some guidelines, you know, you're obviously influenced by your client.
Yeah.
So, right, you have these boundaries, so to speak, but not with painting.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, tattooing there's a lot of spirituality connected with that.
Of course.
But like you said, there's that structure. You can't just zone out and chew up somebody's leg. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there is
I mean, you
technical-
can.
You can, and I'm sure it's been done. But like, it's just one of those things where you're so focused on the technique,
Absolutely.
especially at the beginning
Sure.
of, you know, your career or whatever. But like, once you get that down, it gets a little bit easier, but you're really paying attention, or at least I'm paying attention to what the client wants, because that's their journey, that's their story.
Of course.
So I'm trying to navigate them through that.
Right.
You know?
And that makes complete sense, right? I mean, you have to, right? You have to keep them in mind, and then through tattooing, at least for me, and I agree with you, like, you know, there's these thought processes that you have to sort of go through, right?
Mm-hmm.
From stencil to final product. You don't have a choice. You have to. But with painting or drawing or any other kind of like expressive creation that you're just doing solely for yourself or solely for the joy of creating. And Aaron, you could probably relate to this as well.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of like, you know, videography or taking photos, which is, you know, your genre, your way of expression. It's the same when it's not, you know, conformed by something commercial, right? Like you're trying to sell something, you're just doing it, you know, do just for you or for
Yeah.
the sake of creating.
Well, you can have that intuitive flow,
Exactly.
right? You just, I'm going to see where this goes.
Right.
Can't necessarily do that for tattoo or on tattooing,
Right.
unless you have a really good client. That
Right. And they're just
is
like, whatever.
Yeah, do that.
Right.
Do the thing.
Right. And even then, though, I just kind of feel like you still have, I don't know, there's parameters you have to follow, right? You can push paint around all day. It's
Yeah.
not going to matter where it goes.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can't-
you can cover up you can black out
Sure.
a canvas
Sure.
easier than just going, oh man, sorry, that didn't go the direction you wanted.
Whoops.
Yeah. I know a laser guy down the road.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just not what you do.
Yeah, totally.
Or what I try to do.
Right.
Do you
Makes
ever look
sense.
back on your art and be like, where did that come from? Or
Sometimes it's almost like tattooing.
yeah,
Like I look at the image, whether it's a painting, a tattoo, or whatever, and I'll immediately be able to go right back to that place. It's kind of like a tattoo on me.
mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, like I get a tattoo and I'm like, oh man, I remember hanging out with these people and this thing, and I was working here at this time, and you know, this was a problem in my life, and this is what I got. You know, most of those stories would have been forgotten without that tattoo.
Right.
It's like a permanent bookmark for me. So I don't know if that's everybody, but
Sure.
I definitely get that.
Can you share like a specific project, perhaps something you've done in the past that, you know, really resonated with you spiritually? And in other words, you felt a spiritual connection with the work, and how did that impact the work itself? How did that impact the final piece?
There's definitely a few out there. One right off the top of my head, it was a tattoo for a guy that was in the military, lost a lot of friends, and he wanted to get a tattoo that all of his friends that ended up passing, you know, had, and he didn't get with them. So it was a Nordic-based tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I understood and felt the loss, because I've been in the position of losing friends. I think most of us that have lived through our wild young days, we've all lost somebody.
Of course.
You know,
And that never ends.
No,
The
no.
loss never ends.
Well, and the older you get, the more you lose.
Of course.
You know, but there was something that like really connected me, just spiritually, like feeling that guy's loss.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe one of his friends that actually passed was a friend of his friend had the same name as a friend that I had lost.
Oh, wow.
Which was, you know, in my world, there's no such thing as coincidence. There's
Right.
only synchronicities.
Right.
So that kind of really, you know, set the tone for everything.
Yeah.
But
How about a project in terms of paintings? Anything that would resonate the same way?
there's a lot. I used to just paint, and I still will just go into a canvas blank or blind and see, oh, what this is going to turn into.
Right.
I try to set down and set an intention, you know, for a lot of series pieces, and I've been doing a lot of that. So when I sit down with an intention, those canvases kind of are connected. Like I immediately have an idea, I have an image in my head, and you know what it represents. Once that is kind of set in stone or in my mind, you know, I won't let that go,
Right.
you know.
Sure. Makes sense.
And then I put, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
And then I put, you know, just to make sure, a lot of times I'll put somebody that does represent, you know, a significant part of my life as like a study or as the model. And that really helps me kind of make sure that I'm going to do the best that I possibly can and gets me
Sure.
connected.
Yeah. And your work portrays that. I really feel like, especially as I watched you develop your painting skills and your subject matter, and like, you know, you tend to paint a lot of what I guess I would describe it like connecting the spiritual to like making a human connection to the spiritual.
Yeah.
Right. Like in the way that you paint and in the way that you create these characters, if you will, right, that have some kind of like almost like a clairvoyant sense to them, where like they have a higher sense in the way that you've painted them. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I'm glad that you see that, because
Sure.
that's definitely something that I want to convey
Right.
in a lot of my art. And that's born out of, I think everybody has that connection.
Exactly.
You know, everybody has the talent, you know,
Sure.
or gift or whatever you want to
Sure.
name it. But not everybody knows it.
Right.
And everybody has their own specific way of doing it. And the big part of what I want to show is that it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what your background is, what your ethnicity is, any of that. Like, how you do it is how you do it.
Of course.
And there's no right or wrong. And just because somebody down the road does it a different way, it doesn't mean it's wrong.
Totally.
Like, that's how they connect. That's how they, you know, find their peace.
Sure.
And I think everybody has that. And I just
agree.
want to kind of
Oh, yeah.
convey that.
Absolutely.
So do you have any rituals or practices that you do before you start a new piece of art?
Yeah.
You meditate?
I
or do you
mean, I meditate through everything.
Yeah.
I think actually painting is a form of meditation for me.
Oh, I
like
bet.
I'll find myself, you know, I'll stop and go, wait, who did that? You know,
That's the flow state, right?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
Just like, whoa, that painted itself, you know. Yeah, there's some like hokey things that I like to do, you know, but it sets my way, or sets my term. Just kind of like we were talking about earlier, you know, setting your mind right, you know, for working at home. Like, I'll leave the house, you know, get dressed, leave the house, come back, and then I have the mindset of, as soon as I walk through that door, it's work. So I work, and then I just get a lot more done. I get more focused. So when I started painting, you know, I'll burn some sage and set an intention and kind of really try to focus and see what the canvas wants, or what, you know, the imagination wants to put out there or add to it. And then I try not to stifle it. I let it kind of move where it needs to go, because I don't know everything. The one thing I do know is that I don't know anything.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right. That's a good quote to use, you know, to utilize. Yeah.
It's true to me. That's for sure.
Totally. And the more you think you know, the less you know, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So has your spiritual journey influenced the themes or styles you explore in your paintings?
Definitely.
So how? Tell us how.
So I studied a lot of runes. I've studied the tarot, got into Hermeticism for a while. You know, I love all kinds of forms of religion just because they're so different and they're so unique, and they get in depth and detail. And I love just the little things like that, and how everybody sees different ways of doing really the same thing.
Sure.
Or try to.
Right. It's like different perspectives to the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I like to get into that stuff. And once I get drawn into, you know, if I'm reading a lot of runes, or, you know, I'm more influenced to paint, you know, pagan gods and different things like that. You know,
Right.
I want to explore it through my art to
Right.
kind of like wrap my mind around certain things. You know?
Sure.
What does it mean to read a rune?
It's basically divination.
Oh, okay.
Or divination. The runes are the alphabet, and there's so much, you know, you can tie into or read about it. They're basically the alphabet for Nordic or Old Germanic
Okay.
people. But there's this whole ritual that you do. You can carve them into little staves or little pieces of wood, and it has to be a certain wood, and all the things, right? But you throw these, and depending on how they land, where they land, they mean something.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's no different than, I'll be careful, it's very similar to tarot.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So you're able to do that, and you're able to get a message from the runes?
Yeah.
I feel like the series Vikings, they did something similar, but with bone.
Yeah.
Like where the soothsayer or the seer
Yep.
would shake bones and then spill them onto the ground, and then the way that they would sort of lay out, right, that he would get a reading.
Yep.
He would get some kind
That's
of
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And that's very similar to a lot of, there are to read the bones.
To read the bones, yeah.
Or to throw the bones.
Right.
It's dice, right?
Right,
But
dice, yeah.
that came from throwing different
Sure.
bones and stones and
course.
all the things. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes,
How'd you learn how to do that?
A book.
A book?
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you carve your own?
No, I didn't
Yeah.
get that crazy. I bought them, but
That's cool,
Yeah, it was one of those things. Like I really got in depth with all that stuff at one time, and I've got a certain, basically like a rug that has to be a certain color.
Mm-hmm.
You have to drink a certain amount of mead and all this stuff. Like there's a whole ritual before you throw, and
it sounds very
yeah.
Nordic to me.
It does. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is.
Is that your lineage, by the way? Like, are you Nordic or?
I'm a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Well,
Heinz
aren't we all,
57,
right?
Yeah.
Aren't we all a little bit of everything?
Yeah, my dad's side is German and Austrian.
Okay.
I think more German.
Okay.
And my mom is 57 Heinz, but there's a lot of, Welsh, Irish, Native American, just all over the place.
I think too, though, like with spirituality, like in where we find ourselves kind of gravitating towards whatever it is that attracts us, you know, like I feel like maybe it's possible that in a past life or,
for
you
sure.
know, right, through reincarnation, perhaps, you know, we've maybe have been Nordic in the past or have been, you know, something else, you know.
Yeah,
in the past.
absolutely. Well, and it's connected to our DNA, right?
Exactly.
Like our ancestral
Yep.
heritage
Yep.
is in there. And
It is.
we harken back to that. We
Right.
draw on that.
Right.
That's where we get a lot of intuition, and
For sure.
some people know how to swim immediately, right?
Right.
Some people don't.
And some don't, exactly. Or you travel to a place that you just feel like you've been there before.
Yeah.
Deja vu.
Or it's like
Like,
home. Yeah.
That's how I feel about when I first traveled to Phoenix for the first Hell City show. Like there was something about like the energy in the ground, and every time I go back, it's always there.
Yeah.
Last year, my wife and I went up to Sedona.
That
And
Place is
beautiful.
very
It's beautiful.
spiritual, man.
And we just, we were just hiking and stuff, and then we spent some time in town, and I'm just like, man, I just see I've been here before. Like I the ground, the energy, like it
Yeah.
just vibes with me. I've been here before, outside of obviously the repetitive trips. But
Yeah.
you
Yep.
just feel drawn to the energy of that place.
Yeah. I completely agree with Sedona. Like the first time I was there, I was just like, I know I've seen it. And I'm sure I've seen pictures or
Sure.
whatever on the internet or
Maybe
whatever,
not see it, but feel it. Like you
but to
felt that
feel
place
it,
before.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, this is like, there's like you said, an energy, but it's almost a whirlwind where it kind of,
Right.
you feel off balance because it's just pulling you one way or the other.
Exactly. It's pulling you and you feel connected. Like that's what it is. You feel connected to the energy there.
Yeah, they say
Yeah.
it's an energy vortex there. I don't really know
Yeah.
what that means,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I've heard
They
that.
say there's
Same.
a few of them there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bell
Yeah.
Rock has one.
That's right. That's right. We climbed up to the Devil's Bridge.
Okay. Yeah.
And that whole hike, I was like, I've been here, man. Like this, there's something about this place. You
Yeah.
know?
Got to get one of those Akashic Records
I
readings,
know, man. I know.
Oh.
We just had a reader here actually on Sunday.
Yeah.
Nice.
She was pretty amazing. Yeah, it was eye opening for sure.
Yeah, she gave me a reading. I've always had this connection to Alaska for some reason. I've always been fascinated with shows about Alaska.
Yeah.
She did a reading. She said in my past life that I was actually I traveled from the east up to Alaska and lived off the land in Alaska.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty neat. But
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool shit.
so maybe
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what she says about yours, though.
For sure. I can't
Yeah.
wait to connect with her next
Yeah.
month. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Those readings are so much fun.
Have you ever had one?
Not the Akashic, but
No.
I've had some readers. I've run across a few people that just happened to be there at the right time.
Right
on.
Or I was at the right time, at
Right.
the right place at the right time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wild.
So with the runes, are you able to read other people's? Is it just your own messages?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than
Tarot.
like the tarot.
Okay.
So, you
You have to set
You
an
let
intention
them-
before you throw it.
yeah, you
Yeah.
set the intention, let them handle it so their energy is on it, and then you take it in and you guide that. You toss them. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So cool. And just Nordic folklore, to be honest, it has this like deep, right? It has like a deep spiritual, I don't know, the mythology of it, the connection to all these different deities or gods.
Yeah.
And it's not just one thing. It's not just one centralized thing. It's like all these different versions that represent different things, and how that draws you in, and navigate and helps you to navigate your own life.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting.
Well, and I think that's what most religions were all about.
Exactly.
Like trying to be a guide or to take the energy, because so many of us or people just they can't believe in themselves,
Right.
right? So they have to believe in something larger than themselves
Sure.
to be able to go, oh, they know,
Right.
and
Or we're
they'll,
programmed,
They'll
right?
tell me, yeah.
That's how I see it. Like we're programmed. Oh, how dare you believe in yourself? That's so egotistical, and you're not very humble, are you? And but I mean, of course, there's definitely something much greater than us. But if we are co-creators, then who's to say we're not partly God too?
Well, that
or
is
godlike, I should say.
Yeah.
Godlike.
Well, I mean, if you have, with, I guess, the soul, however you want
That's
to,
it. Yep.
kind of move that, like
Yep.
God or the universe or the big knowing,
Yeah.
if we all have that stardust in us,
Right.
aren't we partially connected? We're
Yeah.
all part of that, and I forget. There was
okay.
a podcast that I listened to not too long ago that kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
And I always thought, like our awareness or imagination,
Yep.
our mind, and that's a Hermes Trismegistus, the mind, right? So everything within is without.
Right.
So what's in your mind, God is mind. So if that is the spark, we all have or all are.
That's right.
It's just finding that balance of not going, I'm God.
Right,
You know, I'm
right.
going to blow everything up. Or,
right.
you know, oh, I'm too small.
Yeah, exactly. Finding the balance between the two, like, right, acknowledging that you do have source within you that helps to navigate and guide you through life, but at the same time not being so engulfed within yourself to think that, you know, you are the end all be all of decision making, and that, you know, everything that you think and feel and do is correct and right, and what is correct and right anyway, but right, like
What is correct for you?
Exactly.
What is
What's
right
correct
for you?
for me? What is right for me? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Makes total sense. You know.
Do you believe our consciousness carries on after death?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any near death experiences?
Um,
Because we keep forgetting to ask that question.
I know. Or do you know anybody that's
Yeah,
had
or do
one,
you know anybody?
So
Yeah.
I do know somebody that has, I guess it changed them quite a bit. I
Yeah.
didn't know that person beforehand. But they were a really connected, like, they were one of those people that when they walked in the room, you felt it, you know, and not like angry dad syndrome, but
Sure,
like you just
sure.
felt this light, you know, and you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, and I was told, you know, by other people that knew this person before and after the event, that it wasn't like that before.
Yeah.
You know, it was when they came back and got out of the hospital and kind of started coming around. They're like, it's a weird thing, you know, like my arms got all tingly when they walk in the walk in the house or
That's
walk
energy,
in the room.
man.
It's-
That's
and
energy
that's it.
flowing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's wild, man.
Yeah, we love talking about that.
We
so.
do.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, I love those stories.
the next
Yeah.
question to that is, you know, do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, yeah.
And have you ever experienced anything?
Yes.
Oh shit!
Oh, we
Let's
gotta
go.
hear
Let's
this.
get into that.
So my entire life, I've seen more things than I can even describe. Like, I've seen so much stuff that I can't deny that there's stuff out there.
Yeah.
Now,
Do tell.
what
Yes.
it
We gotta
is,
hear
I
this.
don't know. But so there is a story, and this is a quick kicker. I was a little kid. I was just a hellion, like constant into something, always just a bastard. I feel bad for my parents. I still apologize. But
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
I think we've all been there.
Thank you for putting up with me. But I had a hat that my great grandmother got me, and I loved it to death. And it tore. She passed away, and I kept asking my mom to fix it. Well, she would sew it up, and I would tear it up again. You know. I remember. Well, I don't remember this. This is a story told by my mom. I was whining about it, like, fix my hat. She's like, I'll get it. It was a long day, so she just couldn't get to it. She's like, I'll get it tomorrow. Set it up on the dresser, and the next morning it was stitched, but it was stitched in a baseball stitch that only my great grandmother did. So that's super weird, super random. But like, I didn't come from anywhere, or from nowhere. My mom and my mom's side is all into that. They're kind of like magnets for the supernatural.
Yeah.
My mom would take me around, driving around late at night, and we would like drive past houses that were supposedly
Haunted.
haunted. Yeah. And then I learned how to feel, different energy that way. Not that we ever really got out and walked around them too much,
Sure.
but just being around and kind of feeling those energies, and then knowing, was it expectation of the people in the car, or wanting to see something, so you feel that energy.
Of
But,
course.
I've done overnights at the Ohio Reformatory.
Ooh, I've got to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't recommend that enough.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm very cautious about that stuff now because there are such things as attachments.
Of
Yeah.
course.
And that is any place that has that kind of emotional energy release. I mean, people just brutally lived and died in those places. So
For sure.
that energy kind of hangs out there. And,
Right.
and I believe that there's stuff that is attracted by misery and hate and pain and all of that stuff. So
Of course.
if they're
There's
hanging
entities, right? There's benevolent and malevolent, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean,
out, and then there's natural and unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
Like you talk about, what is it? Oh man, they're a natural spirit. I can't think of the name of
That's
them now,
okay.
but
I think I know what you're talking about. I can't.
elementals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So elementals are super interesting because they were never human, which is also another definition for demon if you go the Catholic route.
yeah,
So, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they are bad.
sure.
It just means that they don't play by the same rules.
right.
That's all that means, or at least in my experience.
Sure.
So, what kind of experiences did you have at the reformatory?
It was the second time that I was doing the overnight. I was in the, I think it was the second floor basement. So it's 2 tiers basement.
Right.
I was in the one closest to ground level, and they're solitary, but there were open solitary, basically cells. There was one that was closed and it was locked. And I was like, oh, I wonder if anything's in here. And I just put my face right up against the bars. And you know that feeling when somebody like swings or slaps or like pushes something real close to your face but doesn't make contact.
Kind of flinch a little bit, like
Yeah, that, but I could feel almost like the wind, the energy
Wow.
going across my face. And I was like, okay, leave that one alone.
Yeah.
Back up. Yeah.
wow.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I think if I were to go there and do that, I would do some kind of protection prayer or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saint Michael is a
Saint Michael.
great prayer
Yeah.
before you go in and as you're coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least that's what I use.
Yeah. A lot of these mediums. You ever heard of John Edward?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually went and saw him do a reading, but he's got a really good book, and in there he has a protection prayer, and it's all
Okay.
about picturing a ball of light around you,
Yep.
and that ball of light protects you from unwanted energies and all that.
Right.
Yeah. I actually do a form of that before I tattoo.
Do you really?
Yeah.
So you don't absorb their energies, or?
A lot of times, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do it every time, but when I know it's going to be a heavy tattoo or a heavy person, I definitely do it. And it's a very short kind of set in my chair, claim my space,
Right.
do a little breathing exercise, and I imagine, the golden ball of light around me, and I breathe in and I actually move my hand up almost like I'm zipping up a tent zipper. And it was something that a medium actually told me to do because she was like, you're taking on way too much.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense, and it resonates because we've asked this. We've had this conversation with other tattoo artists because we've interviewed a lot of them, and I just specifically think about like Derb and the interview that we had with him, and he just spoke a lot about how being around others and tattooing them is very taxing for us, as
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's very easy if you're not paying attention to take on other people's energy, whether it's positive or negative, however you want to look at it, right? I mean, it makes no difference, but you can carry it with you. You can take it with you and carry it with you. And how important it is to sort of create these boundaries in a way, right?
Yeah.
To help kind of keep unneeded energy or unwanted energy and take it home with you and carry it with you, So
Yeah.
it's funny how as tattoo artists, even though we are of service to others, how we do at the same time need to protect ourselves and our own energy, and just being mindful of not needlessly, right, carry on others.
Well, yeah, it's a
Funk.
it's a form of self-care, right?
Exactly.
Like we all are working out one way or the other. You want to keep your back straight and healthy, so
Right.
you can do this job as long as you can.
Totally.
Well, what about emotional and spiritual?
Exactly.
Got to do the same thing.
That's true.
I met with a medium 2 weeks ago, and she gave me another way to do it. Is if you're feeling negative energy, like pretend like you're scraping the negative energy off you, and then throw it into the earth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I've
That's
never done it, but
That's
Yeah.
a great sort of exercise to do, like to
Yeah.
envision like the gunk.
just scraping it all
Just-
out and
just
give it back to
getting
the
rid
earth.
of it. Yeah.
Shaking it off
Yeah.
and give
Yeah.
it back to earth, so
Yeah.
it can transmute it into something positive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally. That's awesome. I have a question. So, since your work has so much of spiritual themes, have you had the opportunity to work with clients that have had that resonate with them, and they want to incorporate that into their work, and then have you been able to just kind of run with those ideas, or do you collaborate with the client?
Yeah, I try to collaborate as much as possible.
Sure.
And there are two, both very lovely women that I've worked with over the years. So they're returning clients. I consider them friends and mentors.
Mhm.
Honestly, one is a medium, and one is a Reiki master on top of other sets of titles.
Yeah.
But they give me an idea, or they pose me, hey, this is what I need. I need something to represent this. And they'll have, loose ideas, and then I'll go back and forth, and we'll talk or have a consultation for a couple hours, going back and forth, and then we'll go and just start. So that definitely happens a lot with them. A lot, I won't say a lot, but there are definitely those people that are connected. Usually we find our people.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
they'll find me, I'll find them.
Yep.
And we hit it off right away. And it's usually, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? Yeah, okay, cool, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Could you? What about synchronicities? Do you believe in synchronicities? Have you ever had
Yep.
any that were life changing or shifted your path or anything like that?
Yes. A lot. It's one of those things. It's hard for me to pick out so many in the past.
I get that.
I'm one of those in the moment kind of guys,
Mhm.
or try to be as much as possible. So I kind of forget about, writing them down in journals or whatever. But yeah, I have a lot of synchronicities. I'll look at a clock, and I get all the numbers, of 11:11 and
Sounds
and
familiar.
Sounds familiar.
all that stuff. And it's
That's
usually
Aaron's thing is
Yeah,
11:11.
11:11.
Oh, do you?
And it's fun, and it's
Yeah.
funny that
444.
you, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get all of those, and it's usually about the reason that I'm looking at the clock is I'll get a text,
Mm-hmm.
or I'll think of a friend and they'll text me, or I'll text them out of the blue and just think of them and I better text them.
What do you think that is? Do you think that's your intuition, or what do you think is causing that?
I think it's part of the reason that part intuition, but I think it's because we're connected.
Mhm.
I heard something a long time ago when I was a little boy, and it was, if you think of somebody that has passed, or just randomly think of, somebody that is gone and have a good memory of them or whatever, it's because they're thinking of you at that moment.
Right.
And I always thought that was really heartwarming. And it's I almost want to cry a little bit, but I think that's more about just being connected, with everybody, because
Yeah.
we're all the same. You
Sure.
know, we're all part of the same thing.
Totally.
So why wouldn't we be connected?
100%. I believe that.
In regards to your work, and I'm sure you've experienced this, I think every artist has. How do you deal with like blockages or where you just feel like you're having these creative blocks, and do you have spiritual practices that sort of help you to process through those blockages? Because as a painter specifically, I would say, I bet that there's been times throughout your career, throughout your life, where you've just maybe felt like you weren't in a place where you were creating what you were either envisioning or trying to convey, or
or not at the level that you want it to be.
right, or what, or whatever, right? Or you just feel like ideas aren't coming to you, or you're working on a specific piece and it's just not coming out the way it doesn't feel
It's
right
not
to
flowing.
you.
You're
You're
not
feeling blocked. Exactly. You're not finding yourself in the flow, in the zone.
Yeah. When that happens, I know that somewhere in my life I'm off balance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not allowing that flow.
Right.
So it's my job to rein myself in, figure out what I'm not doing or not taking care of.
Right.
Whether it's sleep, eat,
right.
emotional.
Relationships.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That can be a
Of
big
course,
one.
that takes a toll, or it can take a toll.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like anything else, or working too much,
Mm-hmm.
or not enough.
Right.
That's a big one for me. Like,
Yeah.
it's just finding that balance. But when I do find that I'm off balance, I go through the list, and where I'm lacking, then I just pick it back up. A lot of times for me, it's not taking time for me. I'm working too much, or I'm pushing too hard.
Right.
And that's a big problem.
I feel like that is a spiritual thing as an artist, where if you're trying to force, and I guess you don't have to be an artist, you just could be whatever you do in your life, but if you try to force something, if you're trying to force an outcome, or you're trying to force creating something and it's just not working, like I agree, like I find myself having to like separate myself from that thing, from whatever it is that I'm doing, and taking a step back and trying to either breathe or try not to spend too much time processing what I think is going wrong, but at the same time, just that level of separation between yourself and what you're trying to create, and then coming back to it with like a clearer mind, or with a clearer intention as to what you're trying to create, can change the whole thing.
Yeah. Or just coming at it at a different angle,
Sure.
because
Sure.
a lot of times it has to be this way.
Right.
You
right.
know?
Right.
And if you take that break, take a deep breath, walk away, and do something else.
Right.
Or for me, it's, all right, it's not working. I need to sketch, or something, for work needs to be done.
Mhm.
My mind is preoccupied with something. Just go do that, and then
Right.
come back to it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think switching things up. I just recently picked up sculpting, just so I could have something to walk away from painting for just a minute. Stop painting, walk into the other room, sculpt a little bit,
Yeah.
and then come back, and I'm like, oh, I can approach this from a different view.
Sure.
Just like painting and tattooing. I get ideas, from a tattoo that I'm like, oh, I want to try this in painting, or vice versa.
Right.
And they help build each other up.
Yeah, makes total sense. It's the shift of perspective, right?
Mhm.
It's that contrast. Always looking for contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there any significant challenges or turning points in your life that impacted you spiritually?
Yes. So there was a time and Iggy could probably attest to this. I was a wild man. Like, I was in all the punk rock band. Well, not all the punk, but I was.
What bands were you in?
I was in a band, Knucklebuster.
Okay.
And we were just
Knuckle busting.
Yeah. Alcohol fueled fun,
What'd you play?
Sang and write.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you play at Bernie's ever?
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Favorite place. But, so I was a heavy drinker, just a wild kid. And my significant other at a certain point in that career, I was tattooing, I was in bands, I was doing all that stuff. And, she ended up having a problem, with her drinking. And I was facing more problems, but I was just pig-headed, keep going through. It's fine. Next weekend, do it again. It's fine. That bruise will heal. It's fine. Whatever, but she actually ended up, wising up and going, hey, I've been hiding a lot of these things. I think I have a problem. I'm going to quit. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll quit too, supportive. When I quit, I got into painting so much. So I just kind of switched one obsession for another, and
hopefully a more productive one.
It was.
Sure.
It was.
But an obsession nonetheless.
Yeah, it wasn't balanced. And a lot of, my paranormal, life, I guess, because I never considered myself normal, in the spiritual world. It was just like, oh yeah, that's whatever. A lot of that stuff started ramping up around me, and it was more because I wasn't balanced.
Man, I have the same exact story.
Yeah.
About 3 years ago, I quit drinking, and then I really started waking up to the paranormal and just the spiritual side. So I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah. And it's one of those, I always knew it was around. All the stories were there. I seen the things when I was a kid, but the volume of that got turned down when I was drinking.
That's what it does, right? That's
what
the alcohol does.
You think it sets you at a different frequency or a different vibration? It sets you at a lower vibration.
A lower vibration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once you clear that out of your body,
It's a depressant, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna naturally, right, through the process of not being able to, what's the word that when you metabolize alcohol, it just makes sense that the frequency lowers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can feel it
Yep.
after you, as they say, dry out or get connected, you're like, wow, how did I do that for so long?
Oh yeah.
Or not feel these things or see these things for so long. But even within that time, she went through the rooms or went into AA, and I didn't right away. I went for more support, and there's a whole other story there, but I started to catch on to what they were doing and what they were teaching, and I really kind of dug into it, and it was great. It does great things for people. I'm not associated with them, but
you're not necessarily advocating, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it works for a lot of people.
Sure.
You're talking about AA, right?
Yeah. But I don't think it's the only way.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
A gazillion percent as well.
Yeah.
I think my problem with AA is that they teach you that you have to find something outside of yourself to quit.
Yeah.
But really, you have that within you, and
For sure.
you have the power to change yourself. You don't have to seek a higher power.
What you're talking about is systematic. This is something that, and I keep going back to this in my life all the time. We are conditioned from the get-go we are encouraged and conditioned from the get-go to look externally. Period. And it only makes sense, and it appears to be natural, right? We are in this material form, right? This physical form, experiencing life through these physical senses. Visual, right? Our eyes, what we smell, what we taste, what we touch. So it in a way it does make sense, right? To propagate and promote that what you're missing is outside of you, when in fact it's the exact opposite. Yeah. What you think you're missing is already inside of you. Yep. Who you think you want to become, you already are. You're just not living, right? You're not expressing through your existence that emotion, and which is a vibration.
Yeah.
So-
They're promoting the separation.
Exactly, the separation.
But I mean, the Hermetic practice or pathway teaches you those who go without, or those who go. Now I'm going to forget it.
That's okay.
Those who, don't go within, go without.
Right. Go without.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like
That's a double meaning too.
Yeah,
That's
you
a-
have
that's
to
a
go
great
within.
quote.
It is a great quote.
in order to like really get what's going on without you.
That makes
And if you
so
don't
much
go
sense,
within-
man. I mean, that makes so much sense what you just said. Think about that. Like
Yeah.
if you don't go within, you'll go without.
Yep.
You'll go without. You'll feel hollow. You'll feel empty. You'll feel lost, perhaps.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that we all have the answers internally. We need each other, right?
Yeah,
For help and assistance and
absolutely.
support. But primarily, mostly, what we're looking for is already within us.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
it's the how can you love someone if you don't love yourself,
For sure.
right?
For sure.
Like you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anyone
Absolutely.
else.
To have that deep
true.
understanding, right? Because then you can, we talked about this last podcast, like to have that deep understanding and to be able to be empathetic, not sympathetic, that's different, empathetic. If you can completely relate to what someone might be going through, right? Then you can extend the hand and you can say, I know exactly how you're feeling and I can help be of support to you,
Right.
you know? And alcohol, NAA does have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, it does help a lot of people.
Yeah, and I would never naysay it.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
No,
Like-
definitely not.
But it's not the only answer.
It's not
It's
the
not
only
for
way.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's definitely
And-
not the only way.
Another thing, and I'm not dogging AA, just like you said, but
Sure.
another thing is they teach you that you're eternally an addict or you're eternally
Right.
an alcoholic and you
Right.
can never change.
Right.
But I think a lot of people are scared to even try to quit drinking because they don't want to have that label.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
Well-
think what's interesting about that too is the only thing that is constant is change.
Absolutely.
And there's proof of that all around us. So who's to say, like to your point, who's to say that an addict can't stop being an addict?
or an alcoholic.
Or an alcoholic
Yeah.
or a drug addict or yeah.
Well, they even they say that there's a blessing or whatever. There's a step in there, or maybe not a step, but they say you're reprieved or spiritually, reprieved of being an alcoholic. Like that's kind of being cured, right?
Right.
You
Right.
know.
Is that the 12th step or something? I've never heard of that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember reading that and being kind of hearing that from other people where I'm just, I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
there was a moment like when I was in that life or whatever, we went to, it was like every year they have this giant gathering up by Cleveland or Toledo where one of the founders was from, the doctor. And they have a church there that like one of the nuns really helped a lot of the early alcoholics back in the day. And it was in there for a service. And they were handing out these like little medals. And for whatever reason, I absolutely like broke down and cried and, don't know why. Like I just had that like almost like grateful, like, I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm not, dying or in a car wreck, because of alcohol or hurting my family or any of that stuff. And as soon as it was done, it came on, like lightning, and it ended just as quick. And once I was done with it, like
was gone.
it was a whole different feeling, And I was just like, okay, what's next? And I never cared one way or the other afterwards. Like, I don't care if I have a beer. I never had that like draw, But But after all of that, somebody had said, "Oh, well, that's a blessing. Like that's the reprieve." Oh, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, I've never
I guess
heard
I got
that.
blessed.
Yeah, me neither.
Not being an alcoholic, But nobody can call you an alcoholic except for yourself. So
That's right.
Have psychedelics played a role in your spiritual path or creative journey?
I have definitely had my experience with psychedelics, and they have definitely helped along the way, or they've added to the toolkit, I guess. My belief for me, or what works for me, is you can get anywhere that you can get to the same place with or without psychedelics. With that being said, I know because I've done it.
Right. Right.
But yeah, they've helped a lot, or at least given me new perspective on a lot of things. I think there's a lot of good that can be brought out of those.
Sure.
But just like anything else, it can be overused. It can be a crutch that everybody uses to,
Right.
I'm going to go see the machine elves and they're going to tell me what to do, instead of going, hey, I'm going to find out what is right for me,
But that's like the human condition, I feel, and I completely concur with what you're saying. But that's what's interesting. One of the things that I find interesting about the human condition is that we need those extremes to teach us and to tell us, like, oh, okay, I can achieve this way, and I can also achieve this that way.
Right.
But without that exploration and without that self-discovery, you don't really know.
Right.
It's just so interesting, though.
Well, it's the experience, right? Like,
It's the experience and what you take from the experience. That's what I would say, and I totally relate with what you're saying, but that's what I would say in terms of like psychedelics. I feel like it's not the psychedelics themselves. Primarily is the intention that is set, and then through that experience, coming out of it on the other side, what can you take with you? So
Right.
It's not the actual experience itself, in my opinion. I feel like yes, the experience is necessary to shift perspective, but then once your perspective is shift, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, that's a great way that's a great way to look at it, because that's it. Like, you can go to school,
Exactly.
right? You go to school for 4 years for art or whatever you're going to do. You're going to be a nurse. Well, you go to school for it. You get to the end of it. You remember all the things. You got the piece of paper. Now what are you going to do with it?
Exactly.
Are you actually going to get a job with it? Are you
Exactly.
going to further your career? What are you going to do?
Totally.
So, and anybody that is familiar with psychedelics know it's set, and setting, right? So you're
Exactly.
setting intentions, like you're already doing all the things, and you're waiting for this thing to kick in and kind of help you down the path.
To promote, right? To
Yeah.
promote that setting.
Yeah, and your brain is
And the
throwing
intention.
all the things at you, and you can see whatever you want to see in it. You can, all the pretty colors, or I felt love, and whatever it is.
Right, right.
But at the end of it, you're coming down and you're decompressing.
Right.
And then it's, what are you taking with you?
Are you going to integrate? Right, they say integration, right? Like that, and it's true though. Like, what are you going to do with that? How are you going to integrate that into your life? Those particular experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had friends that, and myself, done it a few times, where like in a row, in succession, at the very beginning of my psych career or whatever. Like, oh, I just want all the information,
Right.
And then when you go a second, a third time, and like your guide is there, and it's just like, I ain't telling you nothing. Get out of here.
Right.
You haven't done anything.
Right.
Right. I told you all this stuff. Go do it.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it's meditation or reaching out and talking to spirit guides. Like, if they're giving you information, you have to, download it.
That's right.
use it in your life.
Apply it. Yeah.
Yep.
Have you been able to connect to that realm like through meditation?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't do it much anymore, which me saying that, I'm like, oh, all right, I got to do it. But yeah, I will meditate quite a bit, or have in the past. A lot of fasting, and that would help me get to a place where I would kind of see the spirits do the thing.
Get you there a little faster too, wouldn't you say? Get you there a little quicker.
Yeah, it's almost is very similar to like the sweat lodges,
right?
Where you're not eating for several days,
right?
And then
you're
sweating it out.
You're releasing all of whatever you might be hanging on to.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guidelines to that stuff.
Sure. And doing it safely and correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been perfected for hundreds of years.
Right.
Right. So there are certain people that know what they're doing and how they're doing it, and you need to, like, it's no greenhorn thing,
Right. Right.
Do you have any tips for somebody that is not very good at meditation, kind of like myself?
I started with the guided meditations on YouTube.
Yep, those are great.
Yeah. And
You're the second person that's mentioned that now.
Yeah.
It helped me.
Yeah.
It helped me get into it, because just like a lot of people that I would constantly go, oh, you got to meditate. You got to meditate.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can't. When I started, I was one of those guys who were like, I can't do that. Like, I can't sit down for 5 minutes. Like, I'm a go kind of guy. Like,
Same.
If I'm not doing, I'm not happy.
That's right.
Like,
You're
I'm
wasting time.
Yeah, I'm not living up to my potential,
Yeah.
But it's the human being, not the human doing, right? So
Right.
a lot of times I have to remember that. I'm like, if I'm so amped up about doing something, that's where I need to set down.
Dude, that's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
not the human doing, it's the human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just learn to be, and that's when you are silent, know that I'm there. Yeah, right?
Right.
If you want to
Right.
go down that road with it.
Yeah.
But
And also,
No.
you gain clarity through that too, right? You gain some mental
Absolutely.
clarity,
well, and
spiritual clarity, if you will.
spiritual clarity, or just clarity for yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
decision making for a lot of people, or for myself, like, I listen to my gut.
Right.
Like, my gut never turns me in the wrong
Right.
direction.
Right.
Follow
It
your heart.
never lies.
Yeah. Follow
Yeah.
your heart. Listen to your gut.
Yep.
But if I'm not quiet, I'm not resetting, I'm not, calibrating myself, or being in tune with myself, I'm not hearing that little whisper. I'm not feeling that tug in my gut. So,
Totally.
And I do it really quick. Like, nowadays, I ground myself. Like, I walk out, whether it's raining or not, bare feet, go out to a tree, and I fucking touch the tree with both hands, so you got your in and your out. And I think, the universe and all my ancestors and all the things, and it's less than 2 minutes, but I'm quiet. I'm there, grounding, letting the negative the particles, or not particles, but I don't know, whatever. But is it
Ions?
ions?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yep.
Because you get positive ions from the earth.
Yeah.
And it
so
counterbalances the negative.
Yeah, so you like.
Or is it the
release
opposite?
those. I think it's negative. I think the earth is negative.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And because it's good for inflammation. Inflammation has the positive charge or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. So like, I just try to have my feet on the ground, my hands on a tree, and I'm completely connected. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I do all that stuff, and just being quiet, and listening, and that's it. And
So damn hard to do.
it
It's so
is
hard,
but if
especially when
it's
you're busy.
just like 2
Yeah.
minutes,
Yeah.
everybody's got 2 minutes.
Oh, for sure.
I waste 15 minutes, at least sometimes an hour, on my phone,
Yep.
scrolling at something that
Yep.
isn't really there.
Right.
2 minutes isn't anything. So that's my morning thing, but right before I pray, because praying is talking to the universe, source, whatever, and meditation is listening. And if we're going to have a conversation, it's a two-way street,
That's right.
Like, I don't want to be yelling at the source, being like, "Hey, give me all the money.
Yeah.
Make me handsome. Give me a
Right.
cooler car." You know what I mean? And
Let
then
me
I just
eat
go,
cheesecake without getting fat.
yeah, and then I just go on about my day, and he's like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna tell him how to do that, but
Right. That's such an interesting way of looking at that, and like the direct connection to the divine or God or whatever you want to call it. And that I really admire and appreciate that you have this two-sided sort of ritual, right?
Yeah.
You're there to listen, and then you're also there to give thanks and to pray
Yeah.
and to honor. I feel like honor is depleting in our world. And the word honor resonates so much with me, and with what you're saying makes so much sense. Honor your relationship, honor your love and connection to the divine, and then also listen.
yeah.
Listen, because we don't listen.
Well, and honor might be a buzzword for some people, but that's a word that I hold pretty sacrosanct.
Same.
Same. Honor, respect, the
Gratitude.
big ones. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, all those things go hand in hand.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that I live by it. I
Right.
have to.
Right.
And not everybody is going to get that.
Sure.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Sure.
I hope that they do, but
Sure.
for me, this is what makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
I'm on the right path. I'm open to the next whatever
Right.
intention, the next stage of life, whatever it is. But I want to be good for me so I can be good for everyone else.
Totally. Totally.
So that's the reason that I do it.
Yeah.
Whether that's selfish, you know what I mean? But
Sure.
if I'm in a good position, is it really selfish?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to help as many people as I possibly can.
Of course. I just want to tap into something real quick. Just because I wanted to ask you, and I experienced this, or we experienced this at Health City. Do you find that there's this sort of spiritual awakening in the tattooing, or maybe not so much tattooing, but the painting community? I feel like you're not alone out there, and of course I'm thinking of like the wet paint project, and you're obviously spending the weekend with a lot of these guys. Do you feel like there's this resonance of this kind of thought process or connection to something more than just the paint itself?
Yeah, I think
There's so many talented painters this
man.
year. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen the wet paint project be as big as it was this year. I don't remember it.
every year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Every year it gets better and better.
Yeah.
Every person there is just the best.
Yeah.
And they're coming at it with so many different perspectives.
Right.
And I hate using the word talented. You know what I mean? Because talented has this connotation of, oh, you were just gifted this. You didn't have to work for it. But everyone there works so hard.
Well, talent has to be developed. Talent is developed. It's not something. Yes, you may be born with a talent, but it has to be developed. You have to sharpen it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But so everyone there is great, and I do believe that through the art, everything has a little more of a spiritual tone to it, or
Right.
at least touching on some kind of spiritual practice, or
Right.
a god, or some kind of just bigger divinity kind of thing, whether it's paganism or Christianity or whatever it is.
Sure.
But there's a spirit that's running through most of the art.
Right. I mean, how could it not be, right?
Yeah. But I think
I just meant I guess what I'm wondering is if is there this conscious collective amongst these painters, and as to how they're being drawn to their work, perhaps in a spiritual way.
I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, you would know.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a buzz.
Right. Right.
You can feel everybody in the flow with their work. You
For
know,
sure.
They have that connection.
Right.
You know, whether their subject matter is or isn't, you know, of a godly thing. But I
right,
think,
right.
like,
And I'm not referring to
is.
that. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not referring to the subject itself, just how artists are feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I
think everybody's more in tune.
Right.
You know.
I definitely feel a shift. And when we did interviews while we were there at Hell City, most of the people, not all, but most of the people that we interviewed felt very connected almost immediately as soon as they understood our approach and how we were in short form trying to interview them. We were trying to connect to something deeper than just the craft, something deeper than just that they love tattooing.
Yeah.
We wanted to get as deep as we could in terms of how do you feel spiritually connected to your work and how that drives you. You know,
Yeah.
Some people are driven by money. Some people are driven by fame. Some people are driven by fortune. Whatever it is, you know, are you driven spiritually to do what you do? Because I feel like that's the most abundant. You can. That's the most abundance you can experience, right? And I'm going to use Will Smith just because I remember watching his video of his a couple of days ago. He was talking about how like you can get to the very top of the world and have all the money and have all the fame and have all the sex and have all the fans and have all of that, but you get to a point where like once you've gone on that and you realize that that's not enough to fill whatever void or you know break in your spirit that you may have, that all that stuff doesn't mean anything, and in the end, and what does is that self-fulfillment of nurturing yourself and your spirit and your heart and the people around you, and right. And you were talking earlier about not just the self-fulfillment, but to make sure you take care of yourself so you can take care of other people. And I feel like we do that through our work, right? The more we tap into and the more we stay connected with what we do in a humble way, in service to other people, the more that's going to come back to us, right? The more it's like a magnet, right? That frequency that we're putting out comes back to us,
Right.
You know?
Well, I think part of that is self-respect.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So like.
But we're so easily blinded because we're human, right?
Well,
and not to say that people are neglecting self-respect, but a lot of people, and we all know people like this, will sacrifice self-respect all day for that next $1,000 or that next $10,000 or that next 500 G's or that next million.
Yeah, but would you call those people connected to their source?
Well, definitely not, in my opinion. But again, who am I to judge? Right. I definitely have my own opinion over that, but who's to say? Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is, and we were talking about alcoholism and, you know, drug addiction and stuff like that, we can all be so easily swayed.
Sure.
And misguided, you know, even if it's, you know, unintentional.
Yeah. Well, so that brings up a good point. Like, so I would not judge somebody that's not connected, or what I would consider,
right? What you consider.
Yeah, for me, right?
Right.
You know, what I would consider connected. But they're on a different path than me.
For sure.
You know, they're
for sure.
Whatever. They need to learn that.
For sure.
That lesson. Like,
for sure.
I've got so many lessons that I've learned, and I'm hoping I have so many more ahead of me.
For sure.
You know?
It's never ending, man.
Yeah. But
the growth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean,
the progression.
That's all we have, right?
The change. Mm-hmm.
But the artist part of it, and I will definitely say, like, this year seems a lot more elevated than years in the past, is that the people with their art at the Wet Paint Project, it's communication.
For sure.
Right? Like, we're all kind of like communicating and to each other.
Yeah.
You know, through art.
For sure.
And that, I think that's, everybody is starting to realize that in a bigger sense, like, and we all kind of do that thing where it's like, oh, it's not about the money. It's not about this. It's not about, whatever, portrait or whatever.
Sure.
It's, what are you doing with that portrait? What are you doing with that bird that you're painting or whatever? Like, what's it saying? And we're getting more in depth with that and, putting our own part into it. Or at least that's what it seems like.
And it creates a collective,
resonates.
right?
Yeah.
And that resonation, through that resonation, you feel the sense of collectiveness, I guess, or a sense of, it's a communal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this year, it was just a lot of fun.
It was the most vibrant, the most colorful, the most magnetic.
Yeah.
That I think I've seen in years. I don't know why that was.
Every year
maybe
it
we
gets
were
so much better. But
yeah, I think part of it too was we were on a mission that day, and we were, within a 5-hour span, we like interviewed 9 artists, and obviously you were one of them, and I wanted to make sure that we hit the wet paint project. So I guess part of it was that we were on a mission. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with this mission in mind, like we were open to receive, we were receptive to whatever it was that was out there, but with the understanding that we were seeking out the spirit. And that's what we were doing. We were seeking out the spirit.
And I think the wet paint project, the artists that are attracted to that particular show or
part of the show,
part of the show, like they're coming in because they have that connection already with their art, you know, and they see everybody else there and they're like, oh, I got to be a part of this. Yeah. So totally. I think like attracts like.
Yes.
So
certainly
for years and Christine Well does a bang up job every year, bringing in these amazing artists.
Sure.
But your people find you.
For sure.
So I think over the years, it's been that like somebody that's connected with their art and have so much flow and feeling and emotion rolling through their art that attracts other people that are like, this is the place.
Right.
This
is where I want to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or they feel that, and they're like, these guys or these people are just like us. Yeah. Or just like me. So I got to do this,
Sure. All right. So we are to the segment of our one of our favorite parts of the podcast, the breakdown.
The breakdown.
So for our readers, or for our listeners rather, the breakdown is a segment we like to do where we have our guests, choose a quote of their liking, and we just kind of break it down. Hence the name, the breakdown. So tell us, Toby, what's your quote?
The quote that resonates with me a lot is Gandhi, and he said, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." That's huge for me. Like that's a reminder for me, that if I don't like something that's going on, like people become mirrors, I'll see that in somebody, and it's my job to make sure that if something's not going on right, around me, I need to look within and take care of that,
I think we take his quote for granted because it's been around for quite some time now, but what you're saying so resonates, right? Like that, taking a look within. If you're seeing something outside of you, like you said, it's a reflection of who you are, because we are all the same. We're all connected, and to take that within instead of like, oh, well, you suck and you need to change. Well, maybe there's something about me that's triggering, right? What I'm seeing is triggering something inside of me that I need to change.
Yeah.
So,
or, you see somebody being cruel, it's a reminder. Be kind.
Right. Exactly.
And I try my best.
Sure.
Fall short
hard,
a
man.
lot.
It's hard. Don't we all, man?
But that's a quote that I really enjoy and I really try to live. Yeah. Or make that an everyday thing.
Totally, man.
We ask this question to almost everybody. If you were to go back and talk to your younger self, what would you tell him? What advice?
Go back 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah, go back 20 years.
All right.
What would you say to him?
I'd be tattooing 5 years. Would have been like...
What would you say to him, now?
I would say, get going. You're there's no waiting. There's no perfection. Just do it.
Right.
Just go. Like, not to sound like a Nike commercial, but don't wait.
Right.
Don't wait. We don't have time. Like, we have right now. And
We
that
think
is
we have
it.
time, right?
Yeah,
We think
there is
we have
no.
it.
Yeah, time isn't linear.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's all happening all at once.
Right.
So,
Janie
Get
just
at
said
it.
that on Sunday.
She
Remember
did.
that? She
She
just said
did.
that on
Oh, yeah.
Sunday. Yeah.
but I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't regret anything that I did, you know, or took my time or whatever, but like, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
So could have done so much more.
Yeah.
But, you know, I still am a perfectionist. So it's like, well, I don't want anybody to, like, I want to wait to show it all off once it's all together, or I want to do the, nope, just do it. Like,
Yeah.
there was a time I had phone or all the pictures on the phone, and I had great intentions of editing all the pictures and printing them all off. And then, you know, the phone died, and I lost 3-4 years worth of photos.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, those tattoos will never get seen. Those paintings, you know, are gone now. I don't know
Right.
where they went, whatever.
Right.
It's like, just do it. Like, when the day comes, just post it, just print it out, just, you know, tell the person you love them. You know, tomorrow's not there.
Yeah.
We got right now. If you're thinking about it now, do it now,
Right.
within reason.
Sure. That's great advice, though, man. That's really, really sound advice. Well, Toby, man, it's been such a blast having you on, and I'm so glad that, you know, we ran into you at Hell City, and it was so serendipitous because, like I said, we were on a mission and we were coming out of the main floor, and I was like, we got to go check out the wet paint project just to look, you know,
Yeah.
and wasn't necessarily thinking we would run into anybody that we would interview. And I saw you for the first time, like you were like up front and center for the
Yeah.
first time. I'd never seen you. I'd seen you in you know, in the event, but never like the very first person. It's almost
Yeah,
like you
I'm
were
always
like
hiding.
the ambassador of the event. You know, and I was like, oh, well, we got to talk to Toby. And as soon as we started asking you questions, man, it just fell so much in line. So we're just so glad that you were willing to take time out of your busy schedule today and come and hang out with us, man.
It was my honor. Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Great
you.
to meet you, Toby. It's been
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, it's
For sure.
my pleasure.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's a wrap for number 12. Can't
It's a
believe
wrap.
it.
We're on a
All right,
roll.
there we are. Well, thanks everybody for listening. And hey, Toby, where can people find you?
I'm at Hollow Earth in Columbus.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Hit me up.
Awesome.
Instagram, Facebook, all
Instagram,
the things.
Facebook, sweet. All right. All right. Well, I guess that's a wrap.
Till next time.
All right. See ya.